Call this meeting of the Aurora City Council for April 23rd, 2024 to order. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderman Yamas.
Here.
Alderwoman Garza.
Here.
Alderman Masiacos.
Present.
Alderman Donnell.
Here.
Alderman Franco.
Here.
Alderman Seville.
Here.
Alderman Tolliver.
Here.
Alderwoman Smith.
Here.
Alderman Bug.
Here.
Alderwoman Bade.
Here.
Alderman Lash.
Here.
Alderman Warman.
Here.
Mayor Urban's present.
Is there a motion to approve and appoint the sergeant at arms for this
Second.
meeting? Motion made by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Garza. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries by voice vote. Mr. Muhammad, will you introduce the individuals leading the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation this evening?
Yes, sir. April is National Volunteer Month, and so we really honor those who do service to our community. Leading the pledge tonight is Jose Cervantes, member of our Veterans Advisory Council and just a stalwart volunteer in the community, United States Army veteran, followed by the invocation by Pastor Katrina Boatwright. All of our guests will please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's honor our flag. If you're a veteran or active service member, hand salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to pray for our city, pray for our city leaders. God, I ask that you would continue to give them a heart for diversity, for equity, for inclusion, and for justice. Continue to guide them and give them discernment as they continue to lead. We ask that you grace them with an opportunity for continued strategy, Lord, that you would give them capacity to do the work that you called them to do. God, we raise up the opportunity to be harmonious and to operate in unity, that you bring us together around a plan of solidarity to move our city forward continually. We thank you for all the economic development opportunities that brings more people in this city. And most importantly, God, we thank you for every resident that even under the sound of my voice, God, that they lean on you, that we have increased capacity for joy and for peace and for reconciliation, that we find ways to make our city better together. We avail our hearts to you as you make room for peace, God. We avail our minds to you as you continue to give us ways to do what you called us to do better in this city. Anoint this team of leaders and give the strength to those that are in this room even now to do the work that you've called them to do in only the way that they can with your help. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, let's go on to the next portion of the agenda, Mayoral Community Affairs presentations. Mr. Muhammad, do we have any presentations this evening?
Yes, we do, Mayor. As I said earlier, April is National Volunteer Month. And this week, April 21st or 27th, is National Volunteer Week. And so, you know, so much happens in Aurora because of our volunteers. I like to say from A to Z, from our airport to our zoo. We have volunteers that are moving Aurora forward. Tonight, we focus on the S in the A to Z, and that's our snow angels. And although we're far beyond the winter season, hopefully, you know, we want to honor them for the work that they have done. They served 200 residents during this winter season, 100 with volunteers, 100 with contractors. They had 4 active snow events and 1 salt day. And although there were just 4 snow events, the volunteers had to go out to service their homes more than once just to clear the snow because of just the capacity of snow. So we can give our snow angels a round of applause. We thank them. We're going to ask the mayor to join us down front, and our director of senior services, who you heard from, give the invocation, Katrina Boatwright. We're going to ask her to join down front as well. As the mayor presents our snow angels with awards, you can use that mic. I'm going to ask Katrina to share a little bit about this amazing group of individuals, and then we'll turn it over to the mayor.
Welcome. I am so excited because these volunteers are special to me because they help execute and increase a program that really started from an idea and just a great conscience. Let's help our seniors and persons with disabilities. But these volunteers have been so committed, particularly this last winter with extreme weather conditions. I want you to know that we're grateful for your support. Every senior that called in the middle of storms wanted to know, is my volunteer, is my snow angel still coming? And for me to be able to contact you guys and you say yes, was amazing. I know how much it meant to them. I want you to know how much it means to us at the city, that you collaborate with us and help develop a culture of volunteerism in this city. And we could not do this program or build that culture without your volunteer service. So thank you from my heart to yours, and looking forward to you committing again next year. Welcome.
I like how you got that plug in there, PK.
Let's give our snow angels another round of applause for all the hard work they do in our community, looking out for our seniors. Now, we put the word snow in front of that title, but the reality is these folks are angels that step up and give back to those most in need. So we appreciate your willingness to give to those who are vulnerable, that can't get out and shovel their snow themselves. And if it wasn't for that, might not be able to get out of their own homes. So what you do is very valuable and important to our community, and we truly, truly appreciate it. And we can't give you credit enough for your willingness to give to the city of Aurora. Another round of applause for our snow angels.
And as the mayor prepares to present the first certificate, just want to remind the alderman you have a note on your desk regarding another presentation as well.
All right, this first Mayor's Award of Excellence is honorably presented to Gretchen Ashley for your commitment to the Aurora community by serving as Aurora Snow Angel in the city's Senior Shovel Program. You are valued and appreciated. Thank you for all that you do. Let's give her a round of applause.
Big round of applause for Gretchen Ashley. We'll take a group picture. And each of your awards will read the same. And then we'll do a group picture at the end. Our next recipient, David Benj.
Come on up, David. Take this picture with us, brothers. And this is also to David. They all read the same. For your commitment to the Aurora community by serving as Aurora Snow Angel in the city's Senior Shovel Program, you are valued and appreciated. Let's give him a round of applause.
Yes. Our next recipient, David Conjugal.
David, come on up, brother. Let's give David a round of applause.
Next recipient, Jose Cervantes.
Jose Cervantes, come on down, brother. Let's give Jose a round of applause.
One of his seniors gave him a gift of cookies, and he carries that with him.
I noticed there's no cookies left in that. They appreciate that, brother.
Our next recipient, I don't know how he double times in doing Snow Angel and also performing as our St. Nick, John Gerard.
John Gerard, come on down, brother. Let's give him a round of applause. Let's give it up for Santa. What are the real snow angels? The original one.
Lindsay Carlin.
Give it up for Lindsay. Come on down.
Janine Keating.
Janine Keating, come on down. We all got excited. Give Katrina a round of applause.
Give Katrina a round of applause. She's
Hey.
amazing.
Katrina Boat Ride, making things happen with the Snow Angels.
Isla Landell.
Come on, Miss Landell, come on down.
Now, they may not be here, the next three, but I'm going to read their name and give them a round of applause just in case. Carla Lopez Mendez.
Give a round of applause, Carl Lopez.
Robert Lundquist. And Ashley Oberbrockland. We'll get their awards to them. Next, Sangita Pandey.
Sangita, come on down.
Our
Give a
own
round of
Aurora.
applause.
Next, Jessica Perez.
Come on down, Jessica. Let's give her a round of applause. There we go.
All right. Doesn't look like he's here, but we'll give him acknowledgement anyway. Mike Rice.
Mike Rice is
Mike's
here. All right,
Mike's
there you
here.
go.
There he is. How are you doing? Good to see you, bro. There he is. Thank you, Mike. You're all good, bro. Rafael Salgado.
Raphael, come on down, brother.
You can bring your little one with you. Brian Schimmel. Okay. Next, Heather Short.
Heather Short, come on down. Give a round of applause.
Got a great couple, David and Linda Sidwell.
David and Linda Sidwell, come on down.
Another couple, I mean, may not be here, Raimundo and Julia Tavares with Tavares and Sons. Let's give them a round of applause. We appreciate this. Our next angel, David Whale.
David Well, come on down. Give him a round of applause.
Our next angel, Curtis Wilson.
Come on, Curtis. Come on down, brother. That's right. That's our volunteer extraordinaire.
And next, also a city staff member, Frankie Zapata.
Frankie Zapata. Oh, man, come on down, brother.
Austin, you could have handed the award to your dad. Right? That's his son, Austin Zapata.
Oh, hold on, Clay. Before you go on, and I don't want to, you guys are doing a great job, and I'll give you all the credit, but I'm wondering why we don't have more city employees stepping up getting this award.
There we go.
And aldermen as well. Look at silence.
The aldermen are just old.
Next year, Alderman Yamas. Another round of applause for all of our snow angels. Everybody, come on back down with your awards for a group photo. Keep that applause going. 100 volunteers, 200 homes, serving our seniors and residents with disabilities. We do have an alderman that's a snow angel, Carl Franco. Oh, yeah. Let's get his award. Okay, Alderman Franco. No. We'll get his award to him.
Every year, just so everybody knows. You guys can scoot in. Come back, Liz.
You guys can see over? Okay.
Right here, everybody. National Volunteer Month and National Volunteer Week. We have the best volunteers here in the city of Aurora. Another round of applause for the Aurora Snow Angels. Keeping it going. Great job to Senior Services. And a shout out to Katrina Boatwright for facilitating and keeping this program thriving every year. Thank you so much. You may be seated. And Mayor, you stay up. If our alderman who read your note, if you'd like to join us down front for a special presentation. Some of our aldermen join. Oh my goodness, they're all joining. Listen, tonight, as we celebrate National Volunteer Month during National Volunteer Week, we want to begin a new tradition here in the city of Aurora under Mayor Irvin's leadership by acknowledging a Volunteer of the Year. And when you look at the work that this community does, there's so many individuals who have to move us forward. But as you can see by the alderman who chose to come down, there's an individual who really works across all 10 wards and throughout so many departments here in the city of Aurora, giving of his time, his talents, his smile that keeps us all going. I'm going to give that to the mayor. Please join me in welcoming our first ever Volunteer of the Year, Mr. Curtis Wilson.
Come on down, Curtis!
Keep that applause going. He donates hundreds of hours every year to our community, working with our ward aldermen, working with our departments. He is just a consummate volunteer here in the city of Aurora. And after the mayor presents him his award, any alderman who would like to share any recognitions to Mr. Wilson before he speaks. Oh, no, he'll go first.
This is such a surprise. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Total honor.
Mr. Wilson, come on down next to the mayor, bro.
Now, on this National Volunteer Month here in 2024, we want to give our first ever Volunteer of the Year award to Curtis Wilson for personifying selfless service and embodying the true spirit of community through your words and through your deeds. Because of you, Aurora shines so much brighter.
Yes.
Let's give him a round of applause.
And let's move back. Hold on. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Now, if there are any aldermen who'd like to share brief comments about Curtis' involvement in your ward.
So I'm very proud that Curtis is a resident of the 5th Ward, and we're very lucky to have, the city's very lucky to have him, we're very lucky to have him. But I want to say about Curtis is that in this day and age where there's so much negativity and hatred and vitriol out there, this man is refreshing. He is always looking at the glass is always half full. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but in this day and age, it kind of is. And I know when he walks in the room, people start smiling because Curtis is there. And so he's got an ability about him to make everything better. And I do appreciate everything you do, but especially your demeanor and your behavior and the way you look at things reasonably. We need more like you, so thank you for being there. Thank you so much.
I'll go next to make it short because you got 12 aldermen to speak, and we like our microphone. So Curtis, I remember the first time I heard you speak to City Council, and I believe you had just moved here, and you had talked about how important it was to give back to your community and how you wanted to get involved. And at that point, you had not been involved at all, I don't believe. So where you came that night to greet us, to meet us, to talk to us, to where you are today, has been about 5 years. And look at what you have done. You have added so much to our city. And I have to tell you, when I sit up there and I look out, I look for your face. Because there's always a positive, like Carl said, there's always a positive smile on your face. And sometimes needed. So sometimes as we sit up there and we're dealing with the things that we're dealing with our city, seeing your sweet smiling face is just grand. And I also want to tell you that Mayor Wisner presented me in 2009 with a Volunteer of the Year award. Look where I am today.
I love it.
All right, so like Patty said, I won't be up here too long because there's a lot of people, but Curtis personifies volunteerism. And I've only been an alderman for about 7 months, and every event I've done so far, Curtis has been there. Curtis is part of the back to school planning bash, like this man right here, I can't say enough about it. And for good, bad, or neutral, sometimes I forget I'm on camera when I'm up here, but it's always good to look at Curtis' face and see that we're making the same face to each other. So I appreciate that and nothing else, man.
Congratulations, Curtis. Before your name was announced, I had already mentioned to Alderman Bug that it is you. So I just want to say thank you for your positivity that you bring to all the events. Your love and care for community is very visible, and we are all very grateful to have you in our city. Thank you.
Congratulations, Curtis. You really, really deserve it. Every single event in Second Ward we have it, Curtis is there. Shred event, Dia de los Niños, Easter Bunny, name it. Curtis is there. And the thing is, by the time we finish, Curtis speaks Spanish. You know? Right? This is great thing.
Yes, Curtis. Thank you. It's hard to believe you've only been here not all of your life because you're such a part of Aurora. You're like the epitome of Aurora. And not only have you adopted Aurora, but we've adopted you too. So never go because we need people like you. We appreciate you. As everybody mentioned, you always have a smile on your face, and that's the way to give, with a happy heart. You're a shining example to us all. Congratulations.
They got me. This is truly an honor. I had I'm sitting there minding my own business, and folks started looking at me, making eye contact, and I'm like, what's happening? What's going on right now? But honestly, this is a sincere pleasure. One thing I learned growing up is, in order to really have true satisfaction, is you serve others, and you do it with some joy. It's not about me. One thing I learned growing up that my grandfather would say is that there's a center point in the universe around which all things revolve, and that center point is not me. So what does that mean? It's about you. It's about us. How can we do better together? And so this is a true honor. They had me teary-eyed and appreciative, but again, thank you, Mayor, thank you, City Council, City Clerk, Assistant Corporate Counsel, Mr. Clayton, all the staff, and of course our fellow residents. We're all in this together, so I'll shut up now. Thank you guys so much, and have a good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 Volunteer of the Year, Mr. Curtis Wilson. Thank you so much. Happy Volunteer Month, Aurora. Thank you, everyone.
You know, before we move on, I do want to talk a little bit about service, because I think Curtis, when he pointed it out, that he is here and he does what he does because of the community, because of our residents, and because the need for service in our community. And I think that's why all the aldermen are up here too. We want to serve. We want to make a difference in our community. We didn't, unfortunately, call Carl Frankel down early enough and give him credit for being a snow angel. But, I want to make sure we recognize his volunteerism in being a snow angel and being out there in the cold and snowing too. So let's give Carl Franco a round of applause for what he does. Not just an alderman for the city of Aurora, but a volunteer, a community member to get out there. So, I've been inspired by both Carl and Curtis today. So, Ms. Boatwright, next year, I am going to volunteer to be a snow angel and shovel some snow for a senior in our community. You guys have inspired me, so I'm out. So, I'll challenge all the aldermen to get out there and help, all those that are willing to get out there and help. But I said that earlier, and I didn't get any laughs from the aldermen. Matter of fact, Alderman Yamas said it, and the mayor, and I said, you know what? You're absolutely right, brother. So I'm going to get out there and do that volunteer. And we all do it up here a lot every single day. Every single week we come to city council. But we can always give more, Curtis, just like you do every single day when you're out there learning how to speak Spanish in the community because you're out there so much. So I will commit, Ms. Boatwright, to be one. So mark my name down. And hopefully you get some other aldermen next, that join me. But I'll be out there with y'all next winter, shoveling the snow this winter. All right, let's go on to the next portion of our agenda, the mayoral appointments. Madam Clerk, will you the first item under mayoral appointments?
24-0193, a resolution approving the reappointment of John Duggan to the Aurora Police Pension Board.
There's been a motion made by Alderman Seville, second by Alderman Smith. Are there any questions or discussions on this resolution? There being none, Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Alderman Yamas?
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza?
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos?
Yes.
Alderman Donnell?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver?
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade?
Yes.
Alderman Lash?
Yes.
Alderman Warman?
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. The resolution is approved. With the next item.
24-0235, a resolution approving the appointment of Julian Mendoza to the Aurora Youth Council.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion made by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Garza. Are there any questions or discussions regarding this resolution? There being none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Yamas?
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza?
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos?
Yes.
Alderman Donnell?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver?
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade?
Yes.
Alderman Lash?
Yes.
Alderman Warman?
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. Resolution is approved. Madam Clerk, read the next item.
24-0240, a resolution approving the appointment of Viral Shah to the Fire Code Board of Appeals and the
So
Permanent
moved.
Building and
Second.
Fire Code Committee.
Motion made by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Garza. Any questions or discussion regarding this resolution? There being none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Yamas?
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza?
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos?
Yes.
Alderman Donnell?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver?
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade?
Yes.
Alderman Lash?
Yes.
Alderman Warman?
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. Resolution is approved. That concludes that portion of the agenda, mayoral appointments. Let's go on to public comment. Now, before we start public comment, this is where we get into the regular business of our city council. I know many people are here for the presentations and the awards that were given today, and we appreciate you coming. But if I'll give you an opportunity to file out for those of you who are here for the presentations and don't have the opportunity to stay. I know, we have a lot of little ones in the room that probably have to get home and get ready for tomorrow. So at this point, I'll give folks a few minutes to file out, and then we'll start the regular portion of the business. Now, if you choose to stay, we're happy to have you, and we'd like for you to participate in the whole process. But right now, I'll give you a few minutes for those that are here for presentations to head out.
And Mayor, if you can check if any appointees are here.
Do we have any of those appointees that we just put on? Hold on, just 1 second. Do we have a John Duggan in the room with us? Julianne Mendoza. Oh, Julian Mendoza, step up, brother. Let's give him a round of applause. Come on down front, man. Do we have Viral Shah? Is Viral Shah here with us today? No, sir. I'm going to come down and take a picture with you if you don't mind.
And as the mayor comes down, Julian Mendoza is a junior at Aurora Central Catholic. He excels in all academics, math, science, English, and he's ranked #1 in his class. Julian Mendoza.
All right, let's go on to public comment. Madam Clerk, do we have any members of the public wishing to offer public comment?
We do, Mr. Mayor.
Will you please read the rules of public comment?
Pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, all persons shall be permitted an opportunity to address public officials under the rules established and recorded by the council. Under our rules, any person may address the city council for up to 3 minutes with a maximum of 30 minutes allotted for all public comment. No person other than the timekeeper or the chair for the purpose of maintaining order may interrupt a person recognized for public comment during his or her comments. Members of the city council shall not engage with nor respond to a speaker during the time set aside for public comment. Staff is directed to follow up with members of the public with respect to any concerns raised during public comment within the scope of the city's authority following the adjournment of this meeting.
Will you please call the first speaker?
Michael White.
That right there is perfect. Mr. White, you have 3 minutes to speak, beginning now.
So Michael White, Ward 8, Aurora resident, born and raised here. I wanted to actually begin by saying thank you because I've genuinely enjoyed the beginning of this meeting. I thought it was energetic. I thought it was enjoyable. It put a smile on my face multiple times. And I can say that I'm happy to be here. I'm here today to encourage the council members, you all, to adopt a ceasefire in Gaza resolution onto your agenda for discussion and for consideration and for voting. Some words by Curtis, and I've never met Curtis. This is the first time I've seen him. He sounds like an amazing gentleman. This idea of volunteering one's time, this idea of giving. And I just want to kind of preface my comment as well as maybe some comments that will come up. I hope that it's recognized that this is us just trying to do what we can do as it pertains to what we see on our social media, what we see happening again and again. These are our brothers and sisters in humanity. These are some of us are Muslim. These are our brothers and sisters. I want it to be acknowledged that this is us just doing what we can. And this is one of many steps that we're taking. We're calling our Congress people, we're calling our senators, and we're showing up here to talk to you all because this is what we're passionate about. I also want to mention that Katrina mentioned in her prayer, she mentioned peace in her prayer, and I thought that was very inspiring. I'm going to read a little bit of this resolution, and I think that the speaker after me will also read a little bit of this resolution. This document is intended to be a document of peace, we show up meeting after meeting, and I just want it to be recognized that since the last time that we probably met and discussed this resolution and this topic, a lot has developed in this situation that can affect the reality and the possibility of peace, especially as it pertains to our government. So it's not just a federal issue. We should all be anxious. Everybody in this room, everybody in this country should be anxious about the possibility of a war happening, and that affects every single one of us through and through. And Joe Biden, the president of our country, mentioned in an op-ed published in Wall Street Journal that if Iran successfully strikes Israel, then it could bring America into that war. It's a very real possibility. I also, of course, want to mention that $26 billion, I believe, was just at least proposed, possibly approved. I have to check back on what exactly the amount that is proposed and potentially going to Israel is. So we have a very real situation here. I'm going to spend the last 25 seconds just at least trying to get through as much as I can. And this is as of March 28th, so it certainly can be updated. Whereas the U.S. Department of Defense provides $3.8 billion in annual military aid to Israel, of which the citizens of Aurora contribute approximately $2.2 billion collectively each year through federal taxes, and whereas the U.S. Senate recently passed a bill that would send an additional $14 billion in aid to Israel, of which the citizens of Aurora could assume approximately $8.2 million in aid. And I'll leave that for the next speaker. Thank you all.
Call the next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Abdullah Khan.
Mr. Khan, you have 3 minutes to speak beginning now.
Respected members, my name is Abdullah Khan, Ward 7, been an Aurora resident for over 8 years now. I will continue from where Michael left off. Whereas the Aurora taxpayers would benefit more directly from having our portion of this money spent locally to repair and enhance our infrastructure, improve roadway safety, expand and improve public high-speed broadband, invest in local economic development initiatives, and invest in the things that concern Aurora residents. And whereas the city of Aurora has utilized federal lobbyists to advocate in support of or against the federal initiatives that impact the city finances. And whereas over 32,000 people have been killed by Israel in military action in Gaza. I want to preface this, as this was as of March 28th. The numbers are a lot more inflated now. since the October 7th attack carried out by Hamas, which resulted in the deaths of over 1,200 people. And whereas as of January 11th, approximately 40% of all those killed in Gaza over the previous 3 months were children, including infants. And whereas the United Nations Secretary General Attorney Antonio Guterres referred to Gaza as a graveyard for children on November 6, 2023. The same day, 18 UN officials, including the UN High Commission for Human Rights and the head of the World Health Organization, signed a collective call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. And whereas the Palestinian people in Gaza have been subject to sweeping sanctions on access to electricity, drinking water, food, medical care, and humanitarian aid, the forced displacement of millions of Gaza residents, and the bombing of hospitals, refugee camps, schools, and other civilian centers. Whereas the International Council of Justice found it plausible that Israel's acts could amount to genocide. Whereas the countless domestic and international groups representing a diversity of backgrounds and experience, including Rabbis for Human Rights, Jewish Voice for Peace, Social Workers for Peace and Welfare, Doctors Without Borders, Amnesty International, the World Health Organization, the Norwegian Refugee Council, the International Red Cross, 18 UN agencies, and over 400 staff members of the Biden-Harris administration have resoundingly called for an unconditional and immediate ceasefire. I'm going to stop right here. This is not a set-in-stone resolution, but I would urge you to please pass it. We can work with the wordings of this. We need to make sure that Aurora is a peaceful place. Aurora is inclusive. Aurora stands for humanity. Aurora celebrates individuality of all, be it Muslim, Jews, Hindus. We need to stand with all the rest of over 100 different cities around the U.S. and call for a ceasefire. Please let us set up meetings with you, talk to you if there are any reservations. Ceasefire now. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, you call the next speaker.
Keith Larson.
Good evening. My name is Keith Larson, and I've been a resident of Aurora's 3rd Ward since 2021. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm here to request for a resolution calling for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza to be placed on the agenda and passed. Our fellow community members and I would like to work with the members of this council to write a resolution that supports the humanity and safety of all. You may wonder why passing a resolution for one of many conflicts happening overseas is relevant to Aurora, but I can explain. Just a few miles south of here in Plainfield, 6-year-old Wadia Al-Fayoum was stabbed to death by his white supremacist landlord. As one example of the alarming rise in racism and Islamophobia as a direct result of this genocide. Our neighbors, who are visibly Palestinian, Muslim, or Arab, are understandably afraid for their safety. I may look like an average white man, but I am also Jewish. I have the privilege of being able to hide my identity, but to some extent, I can understand the fear of expressing my identity. As a child, I remember seeing my synagogue guarded by armed police on the high holy days each year as a reminder that anti-Semitic violence is still a threat. Israel has weaponized the credible threat of anti-Semitism to justify violence such as the ongoing ethnic cleansing of Palestine and the genocide we are seeing in Gaza today. Israel has manufactured a divide between Jewish people and non-Jewish Arab people, despite Jews living in peace in the Middle East and North Africa prior to the Zionist movement, with Europe being the source of the most violent anti-Semitism in history, leading to the Holocaust. In the process, Israel makes many people throughout the world less safe, including Jews like me, who they falsely conflate with their racist ideology of Zionism. Cities across the country have been passing ceasefire resolutions because Washington is not listening to the over 2/3 of Americans in support of a permanent ceasefire. As our most direct form of representation, you are our best hope for democracy as Washington has failed its democratic duty. Aurora is the 2nd largest city in the state, and if you amplify our voices, it will send a powerful message to Washington. Sadly, this is not the only genocide happening today, but it is the genocide the U.S. has the most influence over. Israel's economy is on the verge of collapse today due to the scale of this genocide, and without our extensive funding, they would have no choice but to stop the killing. The U.S. can cut military funding to Israel and order Israel to make genuine steps towards lasting peace by addressing the injustices that led to the radicalization of groups like Hamas. There is no other conflict of this scale that the U.S. alone could solve so rapidly which is why we need to act now. I would like to meet with all of you before me on the City Council so we can work together on the text for a resolution that would be right for Aurora. I will be here after the meeting, and I look forward to talking and scheduling meetings. Thank you for your time.
Call the next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Tessina Takia.
Mr. Key, you have 3 minutes to speak beginning now.
Good evening. My name is Tessina Takia. We moved in Chicago area in 2017. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk tonight. I'm a proud Muslim American Bangladeshi, but my world turned upside down since October 7, 2023. We have witnessed unfathomable deaths and destruction in the Gaza Strip and the occupied West Bank due to the war between Israel and Hamas. Israel's ruthless bombardment continues to kill Palestinians in Gaza at a staggering rate. Till yesterday, over 36,000 people have been killed in Gaza and the occupied West Bank. Among them, 16,000 are children and 10,000 are women. In Israel, nearly 1,500 people have been killed. It's a genocide and it's an ethnic cleansing. It needs to be stopped. The conflicts between Israel and Palestine also fueled Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, and hate crime in all over the United States. We all know how 6-year-old Wadia's life was ended in Plainfield. Few days ago, one of my friends wearing hijab or headscarf shopping in downtown Naperville was threatened with a gun and shouted anti-Muslim hateful remarks. Luckily, her life was spared on that day. 3 months ago, my other friend was at the train station in Chicago. Suddenly, someone pushed her from behind, and she fell onto the railroad. She was wearing headscarf. I'm scared for my life, and I'm scared for my Muslim identity. Illinois is the home of 350,000 Muslims and 3,000 Jewish population, and it is imperative that we ensure their safety. I am no more a proud American as I know this war is being funded by American government. One day, if my grandchildren ask me, "Grandma, what did you do to stop the genocide against Palestinians?" what should I answer? That's why I'm here today to request for a resolution calling for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza to be placed on the agenda and passed. I ask the mayor and the older persons to set a meeting with us, and together we can work on this issue and make this world a better place. Thank you for your time.
Madam Clerk, you call the next speaker.
Arif Khan.
Mr. Khan, you have 3 minutes to speak beginning now.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, and staff. My name is Arif Khan, and I live in Aurora, Ward 9. I am here to advocate for a Gaza ceasefire resolution. I wanted to speak specifically about the concerns that you may have about addressing international issues in the City Council. Indeed, our primary responsibility is to take care of our local affairs. However, we live in an interconnected world where local actions can create an impact on the global scale, and where foreign affairs have consequences in our lives, directly or indirectly, through our economy and our diverse communities. The example of Wajia Al-Fayoum, referenced by few others speakers before me, is an example of that. By adopting a ceasefire resolution, we send a powerful message to our elected senators and representatives in the Congress. It shows them what we, as their constituents, stand for. Our actions can push them to prioritize peace and humanitarian values in their policies decisions. I urge you to join our neighbors in Bolingbrook, Villa Park, Burridge, Bridgeview, Batavia, DuPage Township, and Plainfield, who have already paved a way for us to follow. It is easy for us to ignore the reality now, but it won't be easy for us to ignore the reality, the consequences once if we don't act on it. Mr. Mayor, this is urgent and important. I ask for a meeting with you and other council members to discuss and how to move this forward. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, call the next speaker.
Anita Abdeen.
Ms. Abdeen, you have 3 minutes to speak beginning now.
Good evening. Do you know what a Muslim refugee looks like? I am her. I came to the States after enduring a genocide in Bosnia. As a refugee, as an American, I'm appalled that the country I call home, the country that is supposed to stand for justice, is not only allowing a genocide, but is actually funding it. I grew up with the sounds of tanks, bullets, and bombs instead of fireworks. I grew up without food, water, and a home. I came to this country and considered myself lucky to be an American. But I have to be honest with you, after billions of dollars, taxpayer dollars, thousands of lives lost, and an endless pool of evidence of a documented genocide, I'm embarrassed to be an American. I'm embarrassed that we continue to justify killing of innocent children, women, and men as war casualties. I'm embarrassed that we are sending billions yet again to fund a genocide in the Middle East. I'm embarrassed to tell my 2-year-old Bosnian Palestinian son when he grows up that both of his mom's and dad's lands have been destroyed. I'm embarrassed that we are even having a discussion despite the daily documentation of transgression. In Bosnia, over 100,000 people died over a period of 3 years. It's only been 200 days since October 7th in Gaza, but over 35,000 people have died. We don't have 3 years. We don't have another month. We need a ceasefire now. If you have an ounce of humanity left, how can you justify what is happening in Gaza? How can you justify the destruction of homes, places of worship, and hospitals? How can you stand by and watch premature babies left to die after their oxygen was cut off? But we're supposed to believe that they're Hamas, right? Children and their mothers being shot, men being stripped down, tortured, and humiliated, a whole population starved as the Israelis continue to ethnically cleanse the Palestinians. How do we justify raising our Ukrainian flags while ignoring the Palestinian crisis? How many times have we said never again? If you truly care about justice and human lives lost, we must demand a ceasefire in Gaza. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, call the next speaker.
Ansar Kazmi.
Mr. Cosney, you have 3 minutes to speak beginning now.
Honorable Mayor, Aldermen, Alderwomen, respected speakers, and attendees. My name is Ansar Kazmi, and I am a Ward 9 Aurora resident for almost 24 years. As we gather here today, the situation in Gaza continues to escalate, the innocent lives being lost, and communities torn apart by violence and conflict. It's time for us to come together and push for a ceasefire resolution to bring an end to this senseless bloodshed. The people of Gaza have suffered for far too long, caught in the crossfire of political disputes and historical grievances. Children are growing up in fear, unable to live normal lives or pursue their dreams. Families are being torn apart, homes destroyed, and futures shattered. But amidst this darkness, there's hope. Hope that through diplomacy and dialogue, we can find a path to peace. Hope that by extending a hand of friendship, we can break the cycle of violence and build a better future for the next generation. A ceasefire is not just a temporary pause in hostilities, it's a crucial first step towards lasting peace and stability in the region. It provides an opportunity for humanitarian aid to reach those in need, for dialogue to resume, and for trust to be built between warring factions. We cannot afford to stand idly while innocent lives are lost and communities are destroyed. We have a moral obligation to act, to speak out against injustice, and to work tirelessly toward a peaceful resolution to the conflict in Gaza. Let us be a voice of reason in world consumed by chaos. Let us be the champions of peace in a sea of violence. Let us rise above our differences and come together in solidarity for the people of Gaza. Honorable Mayor, Aldermen, Alderwomen, I urge each one of you to support a ceasefire resolution, to demand an end to the suffering in Gaza, and to stand on the side of peace and humanity. Together we can make a difference. Together we can build a brighter future for all humanity. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak here today. Long live peace and prosperity for all people. May God bless the people of Gaza. May God bless you, and may God bless the great city of Aurora. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, you call the next speaker.
Patty Drugan.
Ms. Rugen, you have 3 minutes to speak beginning now.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to thank you for this opportunity to be here to speak with you all today. I do want to congratulate you, Curtis, and I want to thank you, Mrs. Boatwright. I think that they gave the absolute most beautiful segue into what it is that we are trying to do here today. I've already met with a few of the aldermen here, and so I want to make sure that all of you guys understand that this is not just for our Palestinian brothers and sisters. We came out very strong on October the 7th when our Jewish brothers and sisters were attacked by Hamas. And so we want to also come out in support of our brothers and sisters here in Aurora who are Jewish, who are Palestinian. We come out in peace, and we are all in this together. And so the reason why I say that this is a local issue, you've already heard about baby boy Wadeh Al-Fayoum, who was 6 years old and stabbed 26 times because he was Palestinian. But I also want to talk about our Jewish sister, Samantha Wall in Detroit, who was also stabbed for being Palestinian. We've got a lot of issues here in America, but the one thing that I do know that we have is that we are so much stronger, and we are such a beautiful nation when we come together in unity and we stand up for all of our people, everyone. And there's so many things going on across the globe right now. I am hoping and I'm praying that you will allow us to work with you, have meetings with you. We've already had a few with some of you guys. Us coming together to make sure that our Jewish brothers and sisters and our Palestinian brothers and sisters, and I'm asking for the people that are watching this on TV, for all of our brothers and sisters behind me, and for you guys as well, to help us to get this resolution done. We are aware that the resolution will need to be amended. Things may need to be taken out, things will need to be put in. But we want for you guys to tailor-make it to what makes Aurora who she is, to what makes Aurora the proud community that you are, and to make sure that we are all in this together. I think you put it quite well. We are all in this together. And so I just want to thank you all again for allowing us to speak with you tonight, and I do look forward to meeting with the rest of you guys. Thank you so much.
Madam Clerk, you call the next speaker.
Azil Baez.
Mr. Baez, you have 3 minutes to speak beginning now.
Thank you, City Council. I am Asiel Baez from Ward 9. I've been in Ward 9 since 2013. So my formative years, high school, college, has been in here. And I come before the agenda to approve a ceasefire resolution. In college, I discovered that I wanted to get into affordable housing. Big deal of mine. I eventually want to own my own nonprofit free housing for people who want to transition and want to gain agency. I didn't know if you guys knew, but in 23 it was the hardest year to earn a home, the hardest year to pay for a home. And we are right now sending money to a nation that is actually displacing people, displacing a whole nation. And it feels hypocritical that I want to chase this dream when I live in a city that has yet to approve this. And I think it's a very big problem. I come representing students, young people, and a person from the Caribbean that has culture and roots in colonization and displacement. So we must approve this on behalf of all young people and students. This is what we talk about. In case you guys wanted to know, the new generation, this is what we're talking about. We can't believe that a nation is being displaced, and it needs to stop. So thank you so much. This is my first time speaking at City Council, so I appreciate the opportunity.
Madam Clerk, call the next speaker.
Jillian Gibson.
Ms. Jillian Gibson. Oh, okay. Ma'am, you have 3 minutes to speak beginning now.
Thank you. Well, this is a tough crowd to follow. I think some of it might resonate. As you all know, I usually come speaking about road safety and safety of our children. So I would like to say at my first city council meeting, I was pulled to the side and reminded by our alderwoman that she is a mother first and that my sorrow was understood. Those words have stuck with me, and so I wrote this. I'm a mother. I'm a mother who was stuck in traffic and didn't know why. I'm a mother who read on social media that a 16-year-old Wabansie student was struck by a car while riding his bike. I'm a mother who had to ask her own 16-year-old son if he had heard anything, only for him to respond with, "I can only think of one person who rides their bike everywhere. Mom, I've got to call Micah." I'm a mother who watched my son call his friends in a panic. I'm a mother who was told sooner than most that her son's friend had passed. I'm a mother who had to walk down the stairs with tears in my eyes and say, "I'm so sorry, baby. It was him." I'm a mother who had to watch my son's heart shatter. I'm a mother who sat and cried with my child as I watched his innocence slip away. I'm a mother whom attended a child's funeral with her son and watched a boy's family try their very best to speak while being so consumed by grief that they could barely get any words out. I'm a mother who watched an entire community grieve. I'm a mother who sat alongside dozens of others wondering how and why. I'm a mother who watched her son help bury his friend. I'm a mother who hugged a mother who just lost her son and could only imagine the pain that she was in. I'm a mother who hugged a father who just buried his oldest boy. I'm a mother whose son had to return to school and sit next to an empty desk. I'm a mother whose child is afraid to even drive the minimum speed limit anymore. But I'm not a mother who gives up. I am not a mother who allows dangerous things to continue. I am not a mother who will sit quietly and wait for someone else to do something. I'm a mother that will do whatever it takes to prevent another mother from the heartbreak of losing a child or having to sit back and watch her own child's heartbreak. So again, I bring it to the city. I have brought it to the district for everybody to work together. And as these guys are all talking, that we have to join forces all over the place to help everyone be safe.
Madam Clerk, you call the final speaker.
Todd Von Olen.
Mr. Von Olen, you have 3 minutes to speak, beginning now.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, during this trial, the prosecution intends to prove beyond any reasonable doubt that the 5th of May, 2024 will be the 7th annual Aurora Uke Fest. You will be shown evidence that Todd Lawrence, Matt Griffo, Aaron Bear, Amy Lyons, Hoa Pili and the Hula Opawani, Uncle John's Music, Hicks Brothers Famous Ukulele Band, and Danielle Ate the Sandwich et al. Are guilty of being some of the most talented ukulele players and performers on the planet. And that these same individuals further engage in conspiracy to entertain, educate, amuse, and inspire lovers of the uke of all ages. Resource materials are being distributed to you now. Be sure to share these documents with your family and friends. Additional copies are available upon request. We're moving the trial to a new venue this year, Two Brothers Roundhouse. Your deliberations will take place in air-conditioned comfort. No possibility of wind or rain disrupting your serious contemplation of the evidence, participation in workshops, sing-alongs, and open mic. I know that you take your obligation as jurors seriously, that you will faithfully execute your duty as you sit in judgment of these defendants. The prosecution will prove that big fun was had by all on Cinco de Yuco. The evidence will prove that beyond any and all reasonable doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, in summation, let me say that Aurora Ukulele Festival may have changed dates and location, but it will continue to provide the highest quality education and entertainment. Some of you sat in judgment at our past ukulele festival trials, and we appreciate your continuing support and attention. It is your duty to decide the fate of this enterprise, so I urge you to pay close attention to the evidence being presented to you on May 5th from 11 to 6 at Two Brothers Roundhouse. The evidence will prove that the state of Aurora Uke Fest is strong. We look forward to our 10th anniversary festival coming in a few years. Thank you all for your participation in this noble process.
I believe that concludes our public comment section of the agenda. Now let's go on to the next portion. We will now hear both the consent agenda and direct to council consent agenda in full. Go ahead and read them. I'm sorry. Is there anyone who would like to be heard for the, before we go on to the council agendas, let's go back up to public hearing. For the public hearing, Madam Clerk, will you please read the first item under public hearing?
24-0282, public hearing only, special service, Area 218, related to real property commonly known as 1449 Senior Estates at 1449 Jericho Circle, and calling for a public hearing on the proposed special service area in the city of Aurora, Kane County, and providing for a public hearing and other procedures in connection therewith several parcel numbers that is identified specifically on the agenda.
Is there anyone who would like to be heard for the purpose of this public comment on this item? Is there anyone that would like to be heard for the purpose of public comment on this particular item?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Are there any questions or comments from the city
Second.
council? There being none, there's been a motion by Alderman Franco to close the public hearing, seconded by Alderman Smith. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Alderman Yamas?
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza?
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos?
Yes.
Alderman Donnell?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver?
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade?
Yes.
Alderman Lash?
Yes.
Alderman Warman?
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. The hearing is adjourned. Now we will go on to the consent agenda and the direct to council consent agenda. Will you read both of those agendas in full, Madam Clerk?
24-0150, resolution establishing the maximum number of Class B on-site consumption liquor licenses unofficially related to the application from BAU of Illinois, doing business as Blueberry Hill Pancake House, 405 North Eola Road in Aurora, Ward 10. 24-0217, an ordinance approving an amendment to the plan description for Parcel 4 and Parcel 5 of the Lincoln Prairie Plan Development District on the property located south of Del Webb Boulevard, east of Eola Road and Route 30, and north of 111th Street. 24-0218, a resolution approving a preliminary plan and plat for Lincoln Crossing South subdivision located at southeast corner of Eola Road and Del Webb Boulevard. 24-0223, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agency agreement with the State of Illinois Department of Transportation, Division of Aeronautics, and a not-to-exceed agreement for construction phase engineering services in the amount of $53,200 with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley for the Overlay Southeast Quadrant Airport Perimeter Roadways Phase 2 project located at the Aurora Municipal Airport. 24-0225, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 2-4 of the Code of Ordinances pertaining to the organization of the city's departments. 24-0230, a resolution to award a contract to Geneva Construction Company in the amount of $3,315,113 for the 2024 citywide street resurfacing west-north project. 24-0231, a resolution to award a contract to Geneva Construction Company in the amount of $5,616,891.50 and to appropriate $3,500,000 of MFT funds for the 2024 citywide street resurfacing east project. 24-0233, a resolution authorizing the city to accept a grant award of $250,000 from the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. 24-0234, resolution establishing 2024 golf rates at Phillips Park Golf Course. 24-0237, a resolution authorizing the Director of Purchasing to enter into an agreement with M.M. Peters Construction in the amount of $884,445.76 to infill vaults located under the sidewalk along Broadway from Benton Street to New York Street. 24-0238, a resolution to award the Hoyles Avenue and Jackson Street sewer separation and water main replacement project located in Ward 3 to Fox Excavating of Batavia, Illinois, in the bid amount of $939,285. 24-0242, a resolution authorizing the execution of real estate contracts to purchase properties and appropriating Rebuild Illinois bond funds required for the Indian Trail Road signal modernization and resurfacing Edgelon to Highland project in the amount of $5,000. 24-0245, a resolution ratifying payments for the current invoice, Wabansie invoice number S0033580 for $78,105.26, and approving the following amount of $81,897.74, an estimate of what will be used for the remaining of the year to be paid to the Wabansie Community College for paramedic training in 2024. 24-0247, a resolution authorizing the Director of Purchasing to enter into a 36-month renewal of a subscription to Clear Proflex Law Enforcement Database Service provided by Thompson Reuters West Publishing Corporation of Eagan, Minnesota, for an amount not to exceed $78,013.08. 24-0249, a resolution authorizing the Director of Purchasing to execute a change order number 1 to the contract with National Technologies in the amount of $122,000 for the relocation of existing fiber along Indian Trail Road in Ward 1. 24-0252, a resolution approving the appointment of Keith Woke as Director of IT Operations. 24-0289, approval of the minutes of the Tuesday, April 9th, 2024 City Council meeting. 24-0290, a resolution approving reduction number 1 for Fox Valley Apartments, Todd School Subdivision at 100 Oak Avenue. 24-0291, a resolution approving reduction number 1 for Fox Valley Apartments, Lincoln School Subdivision, 641 South
So
Lake
moved.
Street.
Second.
All right, before we entertain that motion in a second, can I get a motion to remove 2 items from direct to council agenda? Those will be items 24-0290 and 24-0291, as we have an alderman that has a conflict that will recuse himself when we entertain those items under unfinished business.
So moved.
Second.
All right, there's been a motion and a second to remove those particular items.
Mr.
All
Mayor.
right.
Sorry. go ahead.
Alderman Lesh. Well, I'll tell you what, let me just, all right, so there's already been a motion second to approve minus those 2 particular items. Are there any other questions or motions to remove any other items from the direct to council consent agenda or the consent agenda? Alderman Lesh.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to remove item 24-0252 from the consent agenda.
Zero two five two. All right, there has been a motion. Is there a second? Is there a second? Sorry? Who was that, Alderman Bug? Yes. There's been a motion, a second. Alderman Bug, let's remove that item from the consent agenda, and it'll go on unfinished. That's 24-0252. Are there any other motions to remove items from the direct to council consent agenda or the consent agenda, or any questions on the items? There being none, Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Alderman Yamas?
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza?
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos?
Yes.
Alderman Donnell?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver?
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
Yes.
Alderwoman Babe?
Yes.
Alderman Lash?
Yes.
Alderman Warman?
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. The direct to council consent agenda and the consent agenda are both approved. Let's go on to unfinished business. Madam Clerk, will you call the first item under unfinished business?
24-0053, an ordinance amending Chapter 29, Article 2, creating Section 32, fleeing and eluding.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion made by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Franco. Are there any questions or discussions on this particular item? There being none, Madam Clerk, call the
Mr.
roll.
Mayor.
I'm sorry, Alderman Seville.
Sorry. I just had one follow-up question. I think one of the other aldermen might have asked this, and I'm not familiar with the answer. So for those vehicles that are speeding and the chase is given up, so to speak, when they're fleeing, and they live out of town, how does what we do valid to them in terms of getting the information and ticketing the owner who lives out of town or out of state?
Nydia Molina, Assistant Corporation Counsel with Officer of Rep from the Aurora Police Department. Thank you, Alderman Seville, for that question. It would apply just, we would send all the requirements of the ordinance would still have to apply. Officers would still have to have probable cause that fleeing and eluding incident occurred. They would be able to identify the owner of the vehicle through their registration, and it would be mailed to them. A summons would be mailed for them to appear in court. So it would be a summons to appear in court. If they fail to appear, a default judgment could be entered, and that matter would proceed to our collections process. But there is no requirement that the individual, the registered owner, have to be a resident of the city of Aurora. It would be like any other ticket from the state. If you're out of state, you're still given a ticket. If you're out of the city of any ordinance violation, you would still be responsible for that.
Thank you.
Alderman Lesh.
Just a quick follow-up question on that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If the person fails to pay, you send them to collections. Are there any other potential repercussions, like having their license revoked at the state level?
Not through this ordinance.
Thank you.
Alderman Bug.
Thank you. I appreciate my colleagues' questions last week and the points that they made, especially Alderman Franco. So I wanted to follow up very briefly on that. You know, the point of holding the owner responsible. So in our scenario of fleeing and eluding, and that person gets away at that time, and later that day, our excellent police officers are able to ascertain who the driver was, and they apprehend him, and he gets processed. At that point, are we still pursuing the owner of the car? Are we still holding them in some way responsible? Are we going to go after them in any way?
We can. This ordinance is a civil process. The fact scenario that you proposed or you gave before is a criminal process. So we still have the ability to proceed through a civil remedy, which is the ordinance. We can choose to file that petition. The officers will still have to provide or send the law department a referral. The law department has prosecutorial discretion to file that ordinance in administrative hearing proceedings. But we have that choice to do so. We do not have to, but we would have the choice to proceed if we believe it's the appropriate thing to do.
But practically, officer, if, to Alderman Bug's point, if you break off pursuit and you find this person driving, say a half hour later, you know, a couple miles away, and you arrest that person because he appears to be the same person that was driving in the first place, but it's not the owner of the vehicle, is there a need to, at that point, hold the owner of the vehicle responsible or liable based on the fact that you actually have the driver?
I don't foresee that coming up. The ordinance is made for cases where we can't ascertain who the owner or who the driver was at the time. If we find the actual driver, I really can't see our patrolmen filling out the extra paperwork to go ahead and make that happen. They've already got the driver, they have all the felony paperwork to fill out. I don't think that would happen. But again, it's an option for them. I'm just saying the goal of this is to hold someone accountable for the pursuit that endangered the public, not just to arbitrarily start charging people just because we can.
Owners of vehicles, just because you can. Not
I'm sorry, owners of vehicles just because. Yes.
Any other questions, Alderman? Any other questions? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Yamas?
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza?
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos?
Yes.
Alderman Donnell?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver?
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
No.
Alderwoman Bade?
Yes.
Alderman Lash?
Present.
Alderman Warman?
Yes.
10 yes, 1 no, 1 not voting.
Motion carries. The ordinance is adopted. Madam Clerk, review the next item.
24-0216, a resolution to purchase a 3-year contract to Insight Public Sector, Chandler, Arizona, for hyper-converged infrastructure managed service of citywide server infrastructure for a total amount not to exceed $1,217,185.92.
Second.
Been a motion by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Franco. Are there any questions or discussion on this resolution, on this item? Alderman Lesh?
Yeah, just to share with the council my rationale for my no vote. I think I've made it pretty clear that I'm against the further privatization of city jobs, and I would much rather see us, and I've shared this view with the IT director and others, to strengthen and have local employees handle the work and to find the adequate staff to do so. Thank you.
Any other question or discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Yamas.
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza.
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos.
Yes.
Alderman Donnell.
Yes.
Alderman Franco.
Yes.
Alderman Seville.
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver.
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith.
Yes.
Alderman Bug.
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade.
Yes.
Alderman Lash.
No.
Alderman Warman.
Yes.
11 yes, 1 no.
Motion carries, resolution is approved. Read the next item, Madam Clerk.
24-0275, a resolution approving the appointment of Kathleen Watson as Assistant Corporation Counsel 2.
So moved.
Second.
Been a motion made by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Franco. Are there any questions or discussions on this item? There being none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Yamas.
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza.
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos.
Yes.
Alderman Donnell.
Yes.
Alderman Franco.
Yes.
Alderman Seville.
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver.
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith.
Yes.
Alderman Bug.
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade.
Yes.
Alderman Lash.
Yes.
Alderman Warman.
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. The resolution is approved. Madam Clerk, what are the next two items?
24-0290 and 24-0291.
I believe those items are where Alderman Warman has a conflict. He's going to be recusing himself, leaving the council chambers. Let's wait till he leaves, and then we will entertain the item. Each item. The record reflect that Alderman Warman has left City Council chambers. Madam Clerk, will you read the first of the two items for us to consider?
24-0290. Yeah.
Go ahead, what is it?
A resolution approving reduction number 1 for Fox Valley Apartments, Todd School Subdivision, 100 Oak Avenue.
So moved.
There's been a motion made by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Franco. Are there any motions or discussions on this item? There being none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Yamas.
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza.
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos.
Yes.
Alderman Donnell.
Yes.
Alderman Franco.
Yes.
Alderman Seville.
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver.
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith.
Yes.
Alderman Bug.
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade.
Yes.
Alderman Lash.
Yes.
11 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries, resolution is approved. Read the next item is approved. Read the next item.
24-0291, a resolution approving reduction number 1 for Fox Valley Apartments, Lincoln School Subdivision, 641
So
South
moved.
Lake Street.
Second.
There's been a motion by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Franco. Any questions or discussions on this item? There being none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Yamas.
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza.
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos.
Yes.
Alderman Donnell.
Yes.
Alderman Franco.
Yes.
Alderman Seville.
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver.
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith.
Yes.
Alderman Bug.
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade.
Yes.
Alderman Lash.
Yes.
11 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries, resolution is approved. Those are the two items that Alderman Warman recused himself from, so if you can have him enter back into the City Council chambers, we can proceed with the final item on unfinished business. Let the record reflect Alderman Warman is returning to City Council chambers. Madam Clerk, you read the final item under unfinished business.
24-0252, a resolution approving the appointment of Keith Woke as Director of IT Operations.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Franco. Any questions or discussions on this item? There being none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Yamas.
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza.
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos.
Yes.
Alderman Donnell.
Yes.
Alderman Franco.
Yes.
Alderman Seville.
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver.
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith.
Yes.
Alderman Bug.
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade.
Yes.
Alderman Lash.
No.
Alderman Warman.
Yes.
11 yes, 1 no.
Motion carries. Item is approved. That concludes our unfinished business. There are no reports for this evening. Is there a motion to approve and pay the bills listed on the agenda? I'm sorry. Before we go on to our paying the bills, we do have an item under new business. Is there a motion to suspend the rules to consider items under new business?
Second.
Second.
All right, there's been a motion by Alderman Smith, seconded by Alderman Garza. The clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Yamas.
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza.
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos.
Yes.
Alderman Donnell.
Yes.
Alderman Franco.
Yes.
Alderman Seville.
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver.
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith.
Yes.
Alderman Bug.
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade.
Yes.
Alderman Lash.
Yes.
Alderman Warman.
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
All right, read the first item under new business.
24-0316, a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign an updated healthcare services agreement between the City of Aurora and Presence Central and Suburban Hospital Network,
So
doing
moved.
business as Presence
Second.
Mercy Medical Center.
Motion by Alderman Smith, seconded by Alderman Garza. Are there any questions or discussions on this item? There being none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Yamas?
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza?
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos?
Yes.
Alderman Donnell?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver?
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bede?
Yes.
Alderman Lash?
Yes.
Alderman Warman?
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. Resolution is approved. Now, let's go on to our bills list. Is there a motion to approve and pay the
So
bills
moved.
on the agenda? Motion by Alderman Franco, seconded by Alderman Smith. Are there any questions or discussions on these bills? There being none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Yamas?
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza?
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos?
Yes.
Alderman Donnell?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver?
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bede?
Yes.
Alderman Lash?
Yes.
Alderman Warman?
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. The bills are approved. There is no need for a closed session
Motion
this
to
evening. There's been a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn by
Second.
Alderman Smith, seconded by Alderman Lash. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. This meeting is hereby adjourned.